Hello and welcome to the SFFRomCast Week 3 podcast. I am Jessica. I read romance, I write romance, and at the minute I talk romance.
Lovely. Yes, I love that addition. I'm Emma and I do the same. Basically, we're here together to chat about fantasy and sci-fi romance.
Yay! And this week we are looking at the book Fallen by CN Crawford. Now, if you've been listening previously, thank you very much for that. You will know that we have links with the last book that we read. So this one is actually pretty much the title. The link to the last book is Fallen Gods and or Angels. So last week's was Pestilence by Laura Thalassa. And yeah, this week we are doing Fallen.
So, shall I read the blurb?
Oh, you be mother.
I'll be mother. The angel of death wants me to be his wife. Most days I steal from ships to earn a living. Not glamorous, admittedly, but it's honest work. Okay, fine. It isn't honest either, but it means I get to eat. Until one night, a sinfully sexy angel strides into my favourite dance hall and compels me to work for him. It isn't just work, though. He wants me to be his wife in Castle Hades. Apparently, his prophetic dreams say that I'll help him become king. Beautiful as he is, he's also a lethal tyrant, and I could be in danger. Luckily, I know how to fight back, how to weaken an angel. I must seduce him. Now this is a battle, and he's my beautiful enemy. We are fighting with weapons of desire, and we're both at risk of losing ourselves in this war.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
So let's get started.
Yeah.
So we will point out now that this is part of a trilogy.
Yes.
So it's a bit different to the stuff that we've done before.
Yeah. This is the first one, isn't it? That's
yes.
Yeah, part of a trilogy. So in terms of romance, we're looking at more of an arc over the series rather than the normal expectation of it being all wrapped up at the end of the first book.
Mm-hmm. So we get a kind of happy for now to the happily ever after at the very end.
Yes.
I use the word kind of very loosely.
Yes. Like, yeah. I mean, it's cliffhanger-ish.
Yes. We're fine with that.
We'll get there. It'll make sense when we get there.
Yeah. Once you know what you're getting, it's all good. Let's jump straight in. We meet Lila. She is we find out she's 25 and she lives in this place called Dovrun.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. So we're kind of thrown straight into her world of where she lives. It's not the nicest of places, and she calls it a slum. Pretty much.
Yeah, but she also loves it. We join her when she's walking through the city to go to the music hall. The bibliothèque. Lovely. And she's really excited. I think it's a nice intro to her because she's just like, she loves her city. She loves the history of it. And she's looking forward to the simple things in life. Friday night, go dancing, have a drink with her friends, maybe meet someone and have some fun. And it's like, cool. And then the rough boys start chasing her, don't they? We'll also say something about all the names in this. They are clearly, it's like Ronseal, isn't it? You get what it is.
You get what you pay for, yeah. On the tin.
It's like every road, every place is called something. So the rough boys is exactly, that's what they are. They're rough. These guys.
Yeah. They smell like whale oil, pitch pine and terps.
Yeah.
Nice.
And they're after her because her mum has borrowed some money off Diamond Danny.
Oh, Danny Dyer. That's who I had.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. And they want to send a message that it's time to pay up. And to do that, they like to grab hold of a loved one and take a bit of their face, an ear, a nose. Lila's not up for this.
No. So she hot foots it down to the bibliothèque and she's at the door. And normally her mates would be there. So she's got a few friends there. As you said, she loves to be there. There's Zara and Finn, and one of them should be at the door, but there isn't. So I love the fact that she just pretty much breaks in.
Yeah. And there's a bit as well, like when she gets there and they're like, right, it's time to do this. Come on, Lila, stop mucking about. This is how it works. She says, has it ever occurred to you that this city needs a new banking system with more reasonable penalties? I love that she's just like talking really like, come on, is this really the best way? It felt really tongue-in-cheek, and it made me think of like Terry Pratchett style, fantasy, in that you get it all and it's really rich world building, but you also get this little like streak of common sense. And is this the best way? Is this really what's happening here? Does this make sense? It's happening.
Yeah, it's how it goes for you, sorry.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say, we forget the bit that we did mention before this, which she's running through the streets trying to escape them, and she's reminded of Skin Monster Trevor.
Monster Trevor.
It's a fun childhood game you can play with your siblings. But so she's running around the streets, gets to the door, can't get in, manages to, but the rough boys follow straight behind her. She looks for her friends, and she comes upon a bouncer in this club. So the club, we kind of find out as she's running in, has 3 floors. There's the plebs at the bottom, the kind of the VIPs of the courtesans, the musicians, and I did laugh when it said the writers.
Oh, I didn't pick that up.
Did you know? Because the VIPs are the writers over there. I'm like, yes, of course we are.
With the courtesans.
Yeah, with the courtesans.
It's about much. It, and it plying our trade for a pittance.
Read my book, it's only this. And then on the top floor are the super duper uber people who nobody
the aristocrats. Yes.
Yeah.
All the posh ones, you're not allowed up there at all. But her friend is a courtesan who works on the second floor. Yeah.
Yes. So she goes there to try and get to see Zara. Yeah. So do we want to jump here as the book does, or do we want to keep going with the story? Because it jumps to him, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I think that's it's quite nice how it lays out like that, because you get a sense of how they're going to converge, don't you? Because she's been put in this situation where she's gone to the hall and she needs to get past the bouncer. And so her friend has already said at that point that you can swap with me for, my break, my hour. You can work in my place.
Yeah, you can have it. I'll go.
Yeah, you can be Zara for an hour. And then she gets past, and then the rough boys don't. They've got into a punch up and got kicked out and can't get past. And then we meet
the Count.
The Count.
Count Sacklas.
That's it. The Count.
Yeah. The Count of Many Cloaks. That's what I call him.
The Count of Many Cloaks, yeah. He likes his hood up, doesn't he?
He does like his hoodie, doesn't he? Bless him.
Yeah.
So we come to the Count, and he is lurking around the same alleyways as Lila was, and he is all bundled up. He's got his hand on his sword, and he is off somewhere. He is looking for a book.
Yes. So now his sword's got a name, and it does. You didn't watch Game of Thrones, did you? You didn't?
No, I did.
Oh, did you watch some? You watched some of it.
I did.
Do you remember the conversation that Arya and the Hound have about swords with names?
Oh yeah. Lots of people name their swords.
Lots of people, lots of CUNTs. It made me think of that, and I wondered, how do you feel? Do you think swords should have a name? Do you think it's a good thing, or?
I would. We name everything. We name cars and everything. So in our house, that would just be a given. My last car was called Bruce Wayne because the kids named it.
Oh wow, brilliant!
There you go. Yeah, it was like a little Polo, so it didn't live up to its name. But
we don't do that really. We've not named the cars or anything.
Have you not?
No. It's a bit dull, isn't it? I like your way.
Well, see, this is it. So I could get my random Simpsons reference in here, though I do have one.
Okay. Yeah.
So my car is called Hugo after the evil twin in the Treehouse of Horrors.
Okay.
who actually happens to be the good twin because Bart is the evil twin all along.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my car
Makes
is good,
sense.
Hugo. Yeah, of course it does.
I love that. I think that is very similar to how we managed a Game of Thrones next to a Simpsons reference in another episode, I'm sure. Yeah, those two staples of TV.
Of course they are.
Right. So, yeah, he's got his sword, which he spent 1,000 years cutting people down with.
Yeah. Not that he's counting.
Yeah.
So there's lots of epic terms in this. He's the venom of God. I suppose he's not anymore because he's fallen.
Well, this is it. They kind of occupy a strange space, and it's not, you don't really come to understand it until later in the book, sort of that position. But he's very sure of the fact that it's quite clear that he feels some people deserve death. And when he's found those people and he's delivering that justice to them, he's very happy chappy. That's when he gets happy. And the rest of the time, he's not really. He's looking in the pub window thinking, all these stupid people getting drunk, what are they doing?
Well, I did note that as soon as you get to him, it was kind of like there's a very grumpy sunshine vibe here, isn't there?
Oh, huge.
He's a right miserable sod, and she is, even through all the hardship, she's quite optimistic, and she kind of does go, oh well, there's dead people and there's this and there's that, but it could be worse.
She rolls with the punches, doesn't she? Lila, she's very much like, well, this is a rubbish situation, but I've been in others. I'll get through it. Yeah, and if there's a drink, it will all be fine.
Sounds like my kind of person. Yeah. So we've got old Grumpy. He's at the bookshop, and he's looking for the Mysterium Liber.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I noted that it comes. It's more of a thing. It gets a little bit of a mention in this one. It's more of a thing for the series, isn't it?
Later books.
But yeah, and before he gets there, I thought it would be good to mention that he comes across, like a prostitute in the street.
The lady. Yes.
The lady.
Yes.
Who wants to, she wants to entice him as a normal customer. But then when he goes over, or when, she sees him more closely, you understand this thing about the fallen angels as well, in that they make women horny.
So they're seducers.
So she's like, you can have it for free, kind of thing. He's like, I'm just not interested. He's really just not bothered in any mortal pleasures, which is very similar to how Pestilence starts out.
Yes,
it?
Very much so. So he's kind of like, lots of us are seducers, but I am the destroyer. That is me. Yeah. So he's never tasted the pleasures of the mortal flesh just yet.
So he goes to the bookshop where he's looking for this special book, and the bookseller's there. But it's all a bit off, and it's an ambush.
Yeah.
Do we know who it is? They say, don't they, that it's for Albia, which is the
they're for
country.
Albia.
Yeah.
Yes. So that is kind of a big thing, that something is kind of, there's an undercurrent of something there for Albia. Yeah.
So I think in Lila's part just before this, she's explained that the country was taken over like about 15 years ago. I don't think she says it at the beginning, but it comes later, doesn't it? So he cuts them down.
It don't take much, does it? It's kind of a quick swish of his sword.
Yeah, and then they shoot him. The bullets don't work again. It's fallen angel perks. So
and then he's kind of sorts them all down, and then goes off to his second task, because he has prophecy like dreams.
Yeah.
So he knew he had to go and find this book. That was the first bit, but he's not, because the book's not there. And then he needs to go and find Zara. Yeah. Then we leap back to Zara, who isn't Zara. Zara is Lila.
Mm-hmm.
That's a notable point. Remember that, because otherwise there'll be much confusion.
Yeah, definitely. So her friend Zara is getting her ready to be Zara. Lila is going to take Zara's place. She's getting her all dressed up in the courtesan gear.
Sexy undies.
I definitely relate hard to the not being able to walk in the high heels. Yeah, definitely. And she says, doesn't she, there's a bit, she says the thing about being poor was you get yourself into increasingly terrible deals to try and get out of the last terrible deal. It's like this snowballing thing, which happens to her all the way through, really. She's like we've said, rolling with it. So start with a bad loan. Next thing you knew, you were working as a courtesan for free. So, but she's like, there's free champagne. It's all right.
But this is it. So she goes up and she's like going into the room, and there's a new guard on the door.
Oh, that guard made me laugh.
And he's like, I'm new. And she's like, oh, okay. And he's like, well, if anything happens, don't call me because I can't do anything. And she's like, okay, that's not
normally
helpful.
He would. He's like, in an ordinary circumstance, you'd call me. But the guy you've got coming, we just got to let it happen. Sorry, love, whatever's going down. I'll be thinking of you.
So no wonder she's drinking the champagne.
She's like,
because
who is coming?
You know who's coming, love. We all know.
Well, she doesn't.
Well, you can guess though.
She wouldn't have thought, would she? She's like,
the fallen angel of death is coming for you.
The Count is coming. She's like,
yes,
okay. So this just, and there's also like these things of it's just getting harder and harder, because when he's talking to her, Jack, he's like, oh, because Clovian and stuff like this, because Zara has a bit of like other languages. Clovia is like the place where the army came from that's invaded. Yeah. And she knows nothing. Lila can't even read. This
is it. And she's like, you can read and write. And she's like,
Oh, we haven't said she's a thief, have we? That's her trade.
Yes.
But she earns her keep by being, a thief by day.
Just thief by day. But so she goes into the room. I did note this down because it just made me giggle. That she's in there, she's drinking the champagne, and there's an angel feather that Zara's giving out. So they're majorly aphrodisiac-y, erotic-y, these angels. And she's sort of there with the feather, rubbing it down her arm, getting herself off a little bit without thinking about it. But it's kind of like the feather's gold and goes to, to umber. And I'm like, what the hell is umber?
That's like a brown, isn't it?
Yeah. So I looked it up and it said it's a bit darker than ochre.
I don't know what ochre is.
What colour is ochre?
Yellowy. Yeah. So this is only because I painted, so I know all I did art GCSE, so I know all the oil colours.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah. Oh, I thought you'd had like these swatches on your wall.
Oh God, no. No, they're not called things like that, are they? They're called like sunset in the desert, or something like that, which is probably more helpful, to be fair.
It really is. What's on the wall? Burnt umber. Oh, okay. Don't want that. But that made me giggle. So so she's in the room, she's got the feather, and then the Count enters and he's got his cloak on, everything is pretty much covered. And she then sort of sees him, she's got her undies on, grabs a blanket and covers herself up.
She's like, Jesus Christ, you're scary. Just wraps herself up automatically, which he tells her to take, he says take it off, doesn't he? And part of the courtesan gear is a mask, which is what he was referring to. Yeah. That she takes off.
Just drops a blanket.
Yeah. And he was like, I was actually talking about the mask, but the blanket's a bit weird too.
Yeah. But you are a courtesan, I suppose. So
yeah. So she's supposed to be stepping into Zara's shoes and being a courtesan and being, I mean, to be fair, she's got very vague details on how to be a courtesan. It was like, whip them a bit, tell them they're naughty.
Spanking, paddle, you don't really need to touch them.
Yeah.
Feather will do the rest.
But she's hopeless. And, he's just too intimidating. He's huge, isn't he? And he's got his, his cloak pulled up. You can't see him.
Oh, but she catches hints, doesn't she? Because obviously he's well buff. He's got grey eyes and he's very broad.
Yes. It's enough. It's enough for us as readers, isn't it? That's all we need. Just throw us a little bit and we're happy.
Yeah. Yeah, just reel us in slow. But and then he kind of goes over to her and he lifts up her chin to talk to her, and she can kind of feel the pulsing of his darkness in there. There's like a fear there.
Very intense.
And then she slaps him.
She punches him. She doesn't just
him. Oh, okay. I've got Zara going, why did you slap him?
No.
Right in the face.
Punches him in the face. Yeah, that's not the usual way.
Not the way to go
of doing it. But he's like, okay, and then he leaves.
Yeah, he's like, that was quite strong.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, that's strangely strong, which I think is a little hint, isn't it? We kind of come back. There's a couple of little moments like that where they go, well, yeah, that's odd. And he's quite interested in that as well, because he obviously has gone there thinking that Zara is meant to be someone important.
Yes.
Even though we know she's not Zara.
Yes.
But he's like, oh, okay, so you're a bit odd, but I guess that's what I need for my prophecy. So.
But this is it. I think he knows that she's mortal. He can sense the difference being an angel, that is like, she is human, but she's quite strong. So yeah, he leaves, and then it kind of jumps to standing outside the boss's office, like like a head teacher.
Yeah, it is totally, isn't it? Because he's Lila's boss too. Anyway, she's who he
pilfers.
That's it. I lost my he's and my she's then. Yeah. So they're both going to get called in, because that's obviously they've been rumbled about what's happened. That's where the count went straight afterwards.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we open the door and we meet Finn, who should have been at the other door, and he's her best friend, I think.
Yeah, she's known him since childhood, and it's clear that she really trusts him. And he's like, his eyes are on stalks because she's all dressed up in the lingerie. It's quite obvious. There's quite a hint that there's something there. That's certainly how that's presented in that scene, I think.
Very much so. It's like,
and she really trusts him.
Yeah, bless him for now. So yeah, rather than trouble, there's actually a job offer in there, which is kind of, I'm not going to say that word. Can you say that one?
Oh God, I didn't even write it down because I wasn't even going to attempt.
Okay. So the Count needs somebody to be like an admin assistant, because
they don't know what it is, do they? That's the thing. It's like, because she says, what is this thing? And Arnold says, courtesan. Not sure why he wanted you, but maybe he likes being punched. Not my place to judge. He's just like, you know what? It's okay. He's coming here. He's offered to pay money. So,
So they kind of barter it down a little bit. She goes through it all. She's like, okay, angel of death, venom of God, do I, don't
this
I?
Is it.
And then the money's
there's kind
there.
of the different, they have a little talk about it all, don't they? About, he's the enemy, and, is it really safe for her to go there? And she's putting her life in his hands, and Arnold tries to like diddle her out of money, but luckily Zara's there and she can read the contract. He's like, that's not what the contract says. She's meant to get more money and you're not, so they have to like negotiate that.
They barter it out, don't they?
And Finn's she can't do this.
You have to be silly.
It's too dangerous. And Arnold's like, everything's dangerous, at least this way you get paid. So
indeed.
And she agrees. Then she's like,
well, it's her mom, isn't it? And she's like, we find out that her sister, that Finn last saw her sister going into the castle, Hades, carrying silks and stuff in. And she's like, if I do this, I can get money to help my mom, who's not in a good place since Alice died. Alice is a sister.
Yeah, Alice disappeared,
Yeah, and I can get in and see if anybody knows where my sister is, where she went from there. So it's a no-brainer in the end for her.
Yeah, she hasn't got many choices. This is the best option. At least it's like she was saying earlier, it's a bad deal. It's not the greatest thing, but it's getting her out of another bad deal, which is to leave and have the rough boys on her case, and God knows what happened.
So she gets cool. So she gets the deal put in that Finn will do some bits, get the money for her mum to be into rehab.
Yeah, kind of like, it's like a nunnery type, I imagined. Yeah, that sort of place where they'll look after her, because she's an alcoholic. She's on the gin, isn't she?
Bless her.
All the time.
Oh, God.
And pay off the debt, so everything's going to be fine while she's gone.
Yeah. So put the rest away, and she wants a really good dagger.
Yes. Yeah, not a rusty old thing.
No.
She wants a proper good dagger. And he's like, right.
Job done.
Mm-hmm.
So we get her home. Her mum's there, kind of lying in bed, and she's in this one big room which has a curtain.
Room. Yeah.
And there's another family that live the other side of the curtain.
With a pervert on the other side,
with
obviously.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we get the first bath.
Yeah.
This is another book of baths, just for Jess.
Just for me.
Because she still can't have a bath.
I'm now, as of yesterday, I'm now another 4 weeks in. And then by the time that lockdown is finished, I'm back in again.
Yeah.
Glutton for punishment.
So this one's not one that you would want. You wouldn't want to have a tub with a pervert on the other side of a curtain.
No. Well, it's only 4 weeks. I'm sure I can manage without.
Yeah, you're not that desperate.
No. So we get all that. She sort of says goodbye to her mum. You really want her to punch the dude next door again.
Yeah, she keeps throwing tins and stuff at him and hitting him though, so it's quite good. She's got a good shot.
But then Finn turns up with a case of courtesan-esque clothes for her. Nice big pair of shoes again.
Yeah, oh god.
And she goes down to meet him, and then they sort of travel through the streets up Skirt Lane. I don't know if that was here or at some point, but I did love it.
Yeah. Skirt Lane. Oh dear, just in case you didn't know where you were going.
So but the streets, everything's quite empty, and they wonder what's going on.
And Finn's saying it's because there's been a murder, isn't he?
Yes, there's a woman been found.
Yeah. They say it's one of the prostitutes, don't they? That's been killed, but in a really brutal way. And he's saying that it's the angels that have done it. And not everybody believes in the angels either, do they?
No, some think it's just a fallacy that the Count is just a really evil, unpleasant person. But it's written on the wall. It says "Time's up," and
it's signed.
Yeah,
Samuel. Yeah, we're going to call him Samuel.
I think.
Yeah,
but
it's one of those fantasy name spellings.
Yes.
I think we get a pass for fantasy name spelling.
I think we do. If anybody knows any different, please let us know. And we will correct accordingly with apologies, because we're British and we do that.
Yeah.
So, if anybody ever did you ever watch Vikings when it was on?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I remember learning about the Blood Eagle at school. I don't think they did.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I remember being 8 and learning about Vikings doing the Blood Eagle. But if you have seen Vikings and you see it happen, God, that's a little bit. Yeah.
So for anybody who doesn't know, that's where they go in through the back while you're alive, because obviously why not? They pull your lungs out through your back and make them look like wings.
Yeah.
Hence the lovely name.
Which is what they've done to this poor woman.
Yes, so they've
he's saying,
wall, haven't they?
Yeah, and written it in blood, obviously, because there's some available. And he's saying that's why no one's around. I mean, this is a great thing to tell her as she's on the way to
a forbidden castle.
Yeah, he's saying this is what the angels have done, and she's like, and that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
But she's also saying, are you sure? Because people get killed all the time around here. She's not quite sure, but it's the big deal he's making it.
Nobody knows what it means.
Yeah. And then they realise that she asks someone, doesn't she, when they get in a bit closer, because it's like properly all shut up, and she's like, what's happening? Why is it so quiet? Don't trust Finn. What are you talking about, Finn? And like, oh no, there's going to be an execution at Castle Hades. Yeah, yes. And they don't normally do those. They don't normally do public ones. That's a new treat that's happening that day.
What I was going to say, normally the Bogdies just swing from the gallows. So this is,
which she mentioned earlier is like they've got a million different phrases for in that city, because it's such a brutal city, doesn't she? She's like all the different phrases for people being hung, just like other people have lots of phrases for rain or snow, depending where you live. I forgot that this happened on the reread. Actually, I forgot this happened literally as she's arriving at the castle as well.
Oh,
I remembered the bit, but it's like, she walks into the courtyard, and there is the Count up on scaffolding.
Yeah, he's climbing up, and she's like,
yeah, getting ready to chop someone's head off.
Yeah, but the crowd aren't happy. They're kind of
no, it's very clear. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, isn't it, with public executions? Sometimes it's painted that the crowd is baying for the blood. They want the spectacle. But for this one, it's very much they're not happy about it. And this is clearly his demonstration of what happens to rebels, because it's one of these free men that he's caught.
Yeah. So we see him, and he's quite a well-dressed, quite upmarket looking chap.
Yes. So, reminds her of her one and only past lover, who was an aristocrat. Sounds like he was a bit of a prick. Yeah, he's basically.
Yeah. Just kind of as soon as his mates got there, who are you? Go away. So he wasn't great.
And the thief in her comes out in that she's a bit of a magpie, and she notices that he wears these cufflinks, doesn't she?
Mm-hmm.
When he's the prisoner.
I call them the Harry Potter cufflinks.
yeah. I don't know why. I pictured skulls, but they're not, are they?
They're lightning bolts.
They're lightning bolts. Yeah.
I probably should maybe go for Percy Jackson, but
Yeah.
Either works. And, the Count is up there with his sword, with his trusty sword.
Yeah.
And the Clovian soldiers are around the bottom with their bayonets. The crowd are chanting that it's for Albia.
Yeah,
they're with this dude on the block. Mm-hmm. They are for him.
Yeah. But the execution goes ahead, but then the crowd goes nuts, don't they? Yes. They start rioting, basically, and she's stuck in it, and she gets separated from Finn.
Yeah.
And she's going to get trampled.
She throws her big old shoes.
She's lost her suitcase with all her nice
they get the pants all over the place, flying. And then the Count appears with her.
Yeah. To protect her. But it's not a bit of frying pan and fire business going on there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's total opposite. It's like, all right, you come up to my front gates, walk through all these masses of people who want to kill me, and knock on the door and go, Count sent me.
Yeah. She's like, how is this going to help? Because they're all going to attack him. She's following him, but kind of from a little bit of a distance, because she's like someone hits him with a massive piece of wood, and it just breaks on his head.
So then he's got his sword out, isn't he?
Yeah, and he cuts a path. Yeah, he keeps to just 8. He's like, that's enough, and then everybody backs off.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so she walks through the grounds. She notices the nightshade, which was like a big old Chekhov's gun thing for me.
Oh, yeah.
So we got to point that bit out. She walks through, look, there's nightshade over there. Wink, wink.
Yeah. Funny, they're just letting it grow because it's this plant that you can knock people out with.
People. Yeah. Just so you know. But she goes into the building, and she sees there's a massive stained glass window with the falling and the rising angels. And then there's another angel there, and he's got no shoes and no shirt, and he's fantastic.
He's always strolling around, and with his cloak but no shirt. He's like,
he's like, you've got no shoes on,
and he's
like,
usually drinking at the same
he's
time.
Drink.
Yeah.
Oh, bless! I love him.
He comes out.
Why have you got no shoes on? Yeah. I'm eccentric. Why haven't you?
I wrote that bit down too. I was like, I'm allowed. I'm rich and important, so I could just do it. You're weird for doing it.
You could do, and they kind of they just stop at that, don't they? She's like, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
And he takes her up to the council office, doesn't he? We should name him. Did we say his name? Suriel. We're going to try it. That's the way
Suriel,
we're going to try and say his name. Not Serial. Suriel. Suriel.
So we'll see him a few times. He's quite cool.
Yeah. So she goes up to. Does she go straight to the council office and then she goes to her room? That's the order, isn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
so she goes to him, and he's kind of there, and he's sensing that something's off with her. He's quite a sensitive person, and then
he does seem to have this that moment.
Well, it's
his
just kind
idea.
of when he sort of makes a lean on the desk and he puts his hands either side of her. That's my cat.
Yeah.
On the walls by heads and stuff.
Yeah. It's a cool moment, definitely, because
Yeah.
she doesn't know what's going on. She thinks she's there to be a courtesan. So when he says, right,
Yeah.
bend over, stick your hands on the desk and lifts up
Yeah.
her skirt, she's like, okay,
Yeah.
this is what's happening. But also, she's getting the thrill from the angel touch.
Yeah, the hands are up, the legs aren't they? And she can feel that.
But he's just going for the dagger. He's just sensed she's got that dagger strapped because he is not interested. Love and pleasure. No, that's what he's saying. It feels a little bit like he's protesting a bit too much at this point. Yes. He's starting to trying to convince himself a little bit. Yeah. He's not interested.
The leg touching is not just in her mind, it's in his as well.
Yeah, he definitely is fixated on that after they've had that incident together. He's not experienced that reaction to being physically close to a mortal woman before.
Well, this was it. The pestilence thing was he's like, oh, I'm the dominant one, even though she smells nice. She's my prisoner. And it's like, oh, there we go. Familiar.
Here we go, dude. You're going to fall so far.
Oh, you think you've fallen once.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, he's got the dagger off her. And, I think then it's just like,
I think it becomes clear because he's like, you're not able to do this job, are you? And she's like, what is the job? Be a courtesan? No, it's to be a secretary. And she admits, I can't even read. That's this point, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And she goes, oh, but I've got other qualities. And he's like, what? Yeah. She's like, I can spy and lip read and just general
I can go unnoticed, Yes. Yeah. And she's like, okay, I'll try you out as a spy tonight.
Luckily, I have a party tonight that we need to do this thing for.
So that sounds handy.
But this is what I'm like, my skills are like being able to remember 90 kids' names for Christmas cards. My skills never come in handy.
No.
Luck would have it.
Yeah.
So we head off to this party.
Yeah. Well, she goes to her room first, doesn't she?
Oh, does she?
With Suriel. I think it might be because after she gets
back
from the party, he's there again. He's just hanging around.
You're right, So they figure out that, and then she goes to her room, and he's there.
Yeah. Which is part of what we were saying. Why we got a different vibe going, and we were a bit, who is the real love interest?
Who is the love interest?
Yeah, because Suriel was there again. Chatting to her, she's just like blown away by this bedroom because, as we've seen, she's grown up in half a room with a curtain separating it, and now she's got this wonderful room, and there's like steak pie laid out for her and fruit. She's only had grapes once in her life.
She's shoving grapes in, it's all over her chin,
and she thinks that's kind of gross, but it's making Suriel happy. She's sucking the juice off her fingers.
It's all over her face.
But, and she gets a bit of information out of him, doesn't she, in exchange for a kiss?
What do you give me for the information? Kisses.
What was the information? Do you remember what it was? I'm trying to think. There's like little drip feed of information about them, isn't there?
So she wants answers, and so he gives the kiss, and I wrote this stuff down that she kind of they kiss and they get really drawn in, and she starts to feel a bit cold, pulls away. And I'm kind of, remember we were chatting last week about the bases. I now know what all the bases are.
Oh, you did research. Nice.
Well, this was it. Me and Rob were chatting about it, and he was like, me and the other half were chatting about it. So it was about a third base. So third base is below the waist.
I see.
There you go.
Okay.
So a home run is all the way, baby.
All the way.
So she wants to know why it was her. Why did she get chosen?
Okay, and he tells her about the Count having his dreams and her being important to it for his plan to dominate. What was it? He says he wants to just conquer everything.
Yeah, he's the conqueror, isn't he?
He's another conqueror, isn't he?
As was Pestilence, yes. So
which is what they're on the train, aren't they, when she's going to this party? And that's what I put, because even he says it to her when they're talking, the Count, I'm here to conquer, it is what I do. And I just got like purpose. me angel, me conquer. It's like, like
you human, you die.
I am here to conquer. But why? Just 'cause that's what I do.
That's what I do.
That's it. They're very like, it's very simple what their purpose is in life. These fallen angels, they're just, I'm here to kill everybody. Have you got a good reason for it? You're just just justice.
Yeah.
For what? No details given.
But yeah, there were other bits of that. It's like, oh, do you fear the other people and do you fear the rebels? And he's like, ha ha ha.
Fear.
They fear me.
Yeah. I'd spit in the eye of your fear.
Yeah. So vain. So
and she's like really on this train, and she's like, wow, I'm on a train, and okay, it might not work out, he might not keep me on, and then he might kill me, but I'm on a train, I'm seeing different parts of the city, I'm going to a party, and he just won't even drink, and she's like, he doesn't know how to have fun at all.
No,
what a miserable git.
Yeah, not good.
So
they kind of get there, and it's another palace, but it's like the total contrast to Hades. That this one's like gold stone and bright and vibrant, and Hades is like grey and cold.
It's like more of a medieval type fortress, isn't it, Hades? And this is more palacey. I think it's like time wise, the era seems it's a bit all over the place, really, isn't it? I think when it started, I thought it was more kind of like Victorian steampunk, but they seem to have also moved along a bit because there's other technologies that have been, which they kind of hint that the angels have brought as well, and like allowed people to advance a bit more. So it is a bit of a mix, but in general, it's still got kind of that oldie worldy type feel to it, hasn't it?
Yes. But so there are two tasks that the Count wants her to do. So first he wants to stay hidden and get any information about the free men that she can, and once she's managed, he then wants her to come and stand by his side and make him look a bit more approachable. Because he wants them to think she's interested in him. She's got affection for him, that's what he says. And it's try and look like you've got some affection for me. She's like, you're fucking terrifying. How am I gonna do this? Maybe put your hood down. Just 1 minute. So she gets there and disappears into the crowd quite quickly. But I've given her spying and espionage skills 3 out of 10 because it takes about 2 minutes for the other angel who rules this palace
to suss her out,
to find her. Oh, there we go. So he is Lord Amoros.
Sure. We'll go with that.
So kind of he's like, you came here with the Count, and she's like, I did. And then she's like, she's all for the questions, and they sort of banter a bit. And she's like,
just asks questions, doesn't she?
All the way through. She's like, how you doing? Who's Samuel? And he's like, I think you already know.
And we're like, okay.
Who is it though? What is it though? And then he's kind of like, just be careful because he is like death incarnate, and once you see his true face, you won't recover again.
I think is that something she even asked? She doesn't ask him if his name's Samuel, but when they have the meeting in the office as well, it's quite a short scene, but they do get through some stuff, and she asks him about killing people, doesn't she? And if he killed a woman, and he doesn't give her a straight answer. He's just because she asks, she's like, I don't feel guilty about killing people. If I killed them, they're meant to be killed, kind of thing. Which, there's a
few of those bits.
You're very much given. I mean, it's quite interesting, I thought as well, that you have his point of view in a way, because it's clear that you're kind of left to wonder, even when you're in his point of view. It's not very clear at the beginning about everything, what he's doing and his purposes and stuff. It does keep it quite ambiguous.
Closed,
Yeah, for about
Yeah,
half. So it's
quite a while.
interesting that you still get his point of view, because it's not normally, I would think, in these kind of romances, you get the male's point of view, or the hero's point of view if he's an anti-hero, so that you feel some sympathy towards him, like in Fire in His Blood, so that you can kind of understand where they're coming
why
from,
he's doing it. Yeah.
And they're not just scary. Yeah. But in this one, they kind of want to keep it a little bit, so it's quite clever. It's interesting.
So we've met this other angel, this other lord, and he kind of drops that bombshell and then goes. Yeah. And then she stumbles upon some dudes who look like the dude who got beheaded.
Yeah,
so they're very neatly dressed, and they're looking a little bit nervous and a bit shifty around the place. So she kind of gets her shoes on and gets moving, finds two of them. One of them has the cufflinks with the lightning bolts on them, and he's with his mate passing notes along. Yeah. So she kind of gets her thieving fingers on.
Because she steals a cufflink, doesn't she? And she manages to do that, and a note, and sticks it in her bra. Because that's what you do in parties when no pockets, even in Fantasyland.
Pockets. It's going to be a tight dress. You can't wear pants. There's nowhere to put your bag. It's just, So, she's done that. Task 1, tick box. So now she's got to go and cozy up to the Count.
And she sees him, and he's got like these women that are clearly being called to his allure. His angel allure. But he sees her, and then they meet in the middle and kind of embrace. And she pulls his hood down, doesn't she?
Yes.
And sees his divine otherworldly beauty for the first time.
And that's then she kind of asks who he is. He's like, who are you? What's your name? And then he says, he is Samuel.
Yeah, and that's a bit of a turn off, really.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
she kind of...
She was having a moment there, and he that's kind of thrown a bucket of cold water over it. Okay, so you like murdering women then?
Yeah, I think she kind of backs up, and he flings his cloak back on and storms off.
That's it. Time to go.
Taking my ball home, woman.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, that's it. And then they have to get back on the train together.
Yeah, bit chilly on the train ride home.
Yeah, but he's kind of all for it. Well, not for that. He's like, okay, cufflinks. No, he takes them all, goes over all the bits. I found it a bit weird that she kind of gives him all the stuff, and then she's like me. She kind of leans over and goes, "What's in the note?"
Yeah. Well, she can't read it, can she? Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah. So she's like, "What's it say?" And he does tell her. He's like, they're going to meet. There's going to be a meeting at the music hall, so we're going to need you to go there and read their lips again and stuff.
Yeah, please.
And so she's got her next task, and that means she's done well. She's going to be kept on as spy now.
Then I've got this was a bit weird for me. That so he kind of chats to her a little bit about it, and he's like, well, how long have you been working there? And she's like, oh, since I was 7. And he's like,
oh yeah,
as a courtesan.
Like, no,
dude. But then
just running errands.
Feeling.
It was like, right, thief. Yeah.
But then she kind of says that she's a foundling.
Yeah, she explains that, doesn't she? Yeah. She was talking about her mother, because he was a bit like horrified by the fact that her parents would have let her work child labour. Yeah. Be a thief at that age. And she was like, well, my mum couldn't, she did her best. Only your mum, where's your dad? Oh, he was hanged, I should say. Before I was born.
Hung.
Yeah. that's how it happened. And then she explains, doesn't she, that she had. Yeah. She doesn't say she's got a sister though. She's keeping that to herself, isn't she?
She doesn't know at the time, but she's like, they found me on the doorstep. They get back to the castle. Yeah. And the soldiers follow her up to her room. He kind of goes off. Yeah. And they start chatting about servants. And she's like, oh, what servants? He's like, all the ones that were murdered.
Yeah.
Now, this is another thing. The Tower of Bones, was it called that before or after?
It was before because of the princes, wasn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, the Tower of Bones, you wouldn't want to live there. But yeah, all the servants were murdered within this tower.
Yeah, because she's asking,
where
are all the servants? Where do they sleep? Where do they live? Well, they don't stay here. Only a couple, because no one wants to stay here anymore after all the murders, after the massacre in the Tower of Bones. It's like, oh God, this place just gets better and better.
So then she's like, I've got to go and have me some of that. So she trips over and she gets some of the nightshade in her hands.
Yeah.
And she takes it up with her. Leaves the soldiers outside her room with the plan to sneak out.
Yeah.
Goes into her room to get some wine and have a bit of a mix up. And he's in there, Samuel's in there.
Yeah, he's there again to give her a reading lesson.
Yeah.
Oh. And she's like, I want to go to bed. He's like, it's like 9 o'clock. Love. Don't try and tell me you want to go to bed. You've got to do this now. Yeah.
You're like, do you think you're here with a choice?
I would like to know his methods of teaching to read, because she learns pretty quick. Like, it's taking me far longer with the phonics.
Teach the kids.
For my 5-year-old.
Yeah, well, A is for apple.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. She's got the alphabet and she's going through it. But by the time he's gone, she can go through a history book and find the word bones. I mean, that's an E you don't even put at the end when you're sounding things out with phonics, which is like, did he explain that to her? Is this one of the things? He did say, I think it later on, I don't think it's a spoiler for the plot, to say it's one of the things that they brought to people was how to read. Yeah. So maybe he does have some kind of angelic, amazing way of teaching it.
Yeah, his TA is fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they go through the books and finally she gets rid of him. Snips the nightshade into the drink, gives the wine to the dudes outside, and slips away to the Tower of Bones.
Yeah, which is pretty creepy, because there's quite a lot of like borrowed history. There's the place where the king had all of the wives that he killed. Henry VIII clearly inspired that one. And then the tower is called the Tower of Bones because of the princes that were murdered there and hidden in the stairwell.
So she goes in and it's quite a tall thing. She goes in and there's like 6 doors, so she starts going in each one. So she's looking for something to do with her sister. Last she heard,
she's going through the clothes, isn't she, to see what's left. If there was anything she can recognise.
Any belongings, So the maid's outfit's still there, and nothing that looks like her sister's until kind of the last room where she finds this little charm that she remembers her sister having.
Yeah. So there's blood splattered. She can see there's old blood on the window and things, and out of the window is this bridge that's crumbled away, isn't there? That would have gone to one of the other towers. And that's quite an important bit. But while she's in there, some soldiers come.
Yeah, 2 of them, and they're kind of like, the count said not to touch you, but I don't know if that was killing or fucking. And it's like, nice.
There's a diamond, that one. So she just kills him. She doesn't hang around for too long. She's like, dagger out. That's what I brought it for.
Me dagger.
Yeah.
So it gets a bit supernatural here, where she kind of, the darkness kind of finds her, and she thinks it's with the Raven King. So
we haven't really mentioned
so
much, have we?
No. So the castle belonged to the Raven King before the Count got there, and the Count executed the Raven King.
That was like centuries ago. The Raven King isn't like who it was taken from. That was a different king. The Raven King is from a long time ago. It's like an ancient thing. Who built it in the first place? And then I guess it's descendants.
It's all descendants of.
Yeah. But she thinks about the Raven King a lot, and she does things
Yeah.
like there's superstitions to do with him where you knock on stone,
knocking bricks
to ask for forgiveness or to ask for a, you know, like touching wood a bit, I guess, that superstition.
So she kind of feels it coming up from the earth, and it sort of takes her and gives her strength to off these two guards, basically.
Because the second guy's a lot harder. The first guy she gets because she's just like quite quick with her reactions, but the second guy is a lot more of a fight for her, and she needs it. He's like strangling her, and she like has to call upon this, you know, she doesn't know what's happening, but it gives her, like you say, the strength to overpower him. And then she's got two bodies she's got to get rid of.
Jump out the window.
Just to drag them out to the bridge and heave them over the side.
Yeah. So it takes longer to get in and out than she'd planned. So when she has to then sneak herself back into the castle, every single guard is on alert.
They're all looking for her.
So she sneaks through the armory and just happens to luckily find a secret passageway, which she had mentioned about there being mirrors behind the armor. And I remember when I read that the first time, I was like, is that a normal thing you get in castles to make? Do you usually get mirrors behind? But maybe that was why it was there, ready for her finding a passageway. Which is cool. I love a passageway. I do. Yeah. Oh God, so many in so many good books. But she kind of sneaks along the wall, feels this breeze coming, finds a little raven on the side, and she's like, yeah, it's got to be a sign. Pushes it and finds a little trapdoor in, sneaks back up to her room, bypassing, obviously, as you would, little cracks in the wall where she sneaks peeks at people. So she's got Sariel in his room.
Yeah, playing
the piano with no shirt.
With no shirt on. He's never got a shirt on.
He's never got his shirt on, bless him. And then she goes past Samuel's room, and he stops and he senses her. And he kind of looks to where she is behind the wall. So she kind of up-foots it out. She's a bit
transfixed as well. Yeah, and you always wonder if he can hear her. I mean, I know it's like he's mentioned before about being able to hear her heartbeat. I think it was actually Soriel that said that to her, wasn't it?
Your heart.
She was getting excited. I can hear it.
Yeah.
But she manages to like pull herself away, doesn't she, and get back to her room.
Which has been absolutely demolished.
Yeah, they've searched for it high and low in her room. So what is she going to do to convince them? This is hilarious. I mean, I love the brazenness of it. And she's like acting like an idiot has worked for me so many times in the past.
Yeah, let's just go with it.
Yeah, so I'll just act a bit dumb.
She gets a bottle of wine, covers herself in it, drinks as much as she possibly can, comes out of her room, blazing drunk. Yeah, where are you going? What are you doing? Pretends that she's got stuck between the bed and the wall.
Yeah.
And then vomits everywhere.
Yeah, she goes back in. She does, like, to them, she play acts that,
I'm going to be sick.
And then she goes inside and sticks her fingers down her throat, which is a lot harder than she thought it would be.
Yeah, she's like, Jesus, come on. But then, she vomits all over herself, and the soldiers just
and they come in and they're like, oh God, love, really? All right, whatever. Have we really been turning the castle over for her?
For this.
What on earth?
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
That was nice.
When does he have his cold bath? Have we missed the bath?
No,
is that
not yet.
No,
not yet. So we do go to his point of view, and he's kind of like, where the hell is she, what's going on? And Soriel comes in and is like, we found her, she's absolutely wasted. And I think it's kind of around now he's like, okay, there's weird things and weird feelings, and I just
he knows she's lying.
But I need this woman. So he's like, I am death. That's it. That's what I do. I need to focus on that. So he gets in a freezing cold bath to cool himself down.
Another bath you wouldn't have wanted.
No, actually, I could have done without that one. So then I think we jump to her, don't we? So she's kind of she calls to the we're missing loads of stuff. Finn has a raven.
Yeah, I thought that. I mean, it's hard because it's just little bits, isn't it? And he's taught her how to call his raven, so he can send her pictures because she can't read
them.
So his messages have to be drawn.
Yes.
So she's got to interpret his drawings. But luckily, he's a really good artist.
Of course he is. Why not? Why would you not be? So there's a massive storm outside. She's in the room and she calls to the raven, who's brought a picture. And it's kind of one side is a dead woman with there's like an angel and the wings with a crown above, and then she flips it over and then it's totally different. On the other side, the angel is dead, not the woman, and then the crown is lying in the blood and the gore underneath. And she's kind of like, oh, I've got to speak to Finn. Something's got to mean something with this. Is it revenge for Alice? Is it something I have to do?
I think she's kind of got it, hasn't she? She's like, I need to, Samuel's killed all of the servants. They've all been killed here and he's out killing other people. He needs to be stopped. But if she's supposed to do it, how is she meant to do it? She doesn't know at this stage how she can, what their weakness is.
She finds out too. So she goes out and he finds her. Samuel finds her.
She goes to
so she goes to try and escape through the tunnels, and this is where she kind of mentions about the princes and stuff, and she was really scared.
She's like, I had a bad dream.
And then
she gets so into it. That was what made me laugh.
And this is happening, and can I sleep in your room?
Because she's like, hang on, I'm supposed to be seducing him, I'll act all scared. And then she starts telling this story and she's getting really into it, being gruesome. She gets distracted. But then he's like,
and he's like really believing her. He's like,
oh, okay, he has these dreams, doesn't he? So he's like, she has inadvertently picked something, the one thing he could empathize with.
Because loads of the soldiers don't believe him. I think he said at one point, doesn't he, that it's only Samuel that actually believes his prophecies.
Exactly.
So that's it. So they go to his rooms.
He's like, you got to sleep in my room now. She's like, sweet.
So we've got to remember there was a storm and she was in bed, and the seduction game is on. So she's like, oh look, there's a bath, I'm cold and wet. So she takes her cloak off. She's got one of those old schooly white nighties on, and what happens with white clothes, they stick to everything. But he's quite good. He's like, boobs, no boobs, and he goes and gets a book.
He's just got the book up and he's like not reading it, staring at it, willing the images from his brain.
So then she I think she tries again and again, doesn't she? So she's like, oh, I'll have a bath then. And he's like, go on then, I don't care. So she gets in the bath and does all of that, and kind of they chat away, and she's like asking about the books and stuff, and he's like, oh, okay, you need to learn to read because I need a wife. This is when he drops that clanger.
And
she's like, what? There's no seduction now. There's like, what are you talking about? So he dropped the clanger on her then, and she's like,
he said that he needs to have the king of the fallen must have a mortal wife. That's what he's aiming for, isn't it? To be the king of the fallen. And I don't know why. Who made this rule up? That leads to her. But he's like, that's actually something that they mention at the party, isn't it? When they're on the way, and she's asking questions. The Lord, the angel at the other party, has got many wives. And that was part of why they were talking about it, wasn't it? He's like, they all do that. I don't. I haven't.
I don't.
So he needs to. Got to show he's on their level, I guess, or something. I don't know.
Then to me it was kind of like, all right, husband, let's have a go. So she stands up in the bath, totally naked, and is like, husband, bring me a towel. It kind of he comes a bit closer and he's like, gives her a warning, you don't know what you're messing with.
It's not a good idea.
It backfires because he just turns off all the lights.
It's just
leaves her cold and wet
until she gets her blanket wrapped around herself.
Oh bless, he gives her the sofa, doesn't he? He's like, you can sleep on the sofa. And then it kind of, they start chatting a bit, and then she asks about how he fell. Why did you fall? And this is
but I love the conversation about the tea though, because that was another thing that reminded me of Pestilence. So when he's in his room, we haven't mentioned the amazingness of where his bedroom is. He sleeps in the library,
the bathroom, library, bedroom.
Yeah, it's amazing. He's got the whole library, this 2-story library, and there's a little room at the back which is his bedroom. And he just like sitting there of an evening with a cup of herbal tea and
He's
a book.
He's got a drawer full of tea, bless him.
The drawer full of tea. And he says, because she's trying to get to know him, he's like, I drink tea sometimes at night, herbal tea. And she goes, I frowned, completely confused. Sorry, is that why you fell? Because she's asking him about why he fell from heaven. And he's like, no, oddly enough, it wasn't because I drink tea.
Yeah, no, that's a bit harsh.
Yeah. And then he explains what actually happened, doesn't he?
Yeah, so there's he had a mortal who used to make the tea for him, and this is where it kind of goes into more details about what they did and how they felt. So they shared their secrets with mortals when they shouldn't have done. Is what happened. So Yvonne is her name.
I think so. I didn't write that.
So Yvonne, there's a mention of Yvonne who taught him how to make the tea and to use these herbs to help heal people, and she was mortal. And she's kind of, there's a picture of her, isn't there, somewhere, like a portrait?
She's already spotted
sees
this
in the room. So
picture.
and then he kind of mentioned that there were angels and demons were warring.
So that's why she came and healed him, wasn't it? Because the angels had been fighting the demons, and they were all injured, and Yvonne had come along and to help the angels. And Nyla's like, hang on, there's demons too. What?
So I think this is where he mentions that Lilith nearly killed him.
It's always Lilith, isn't it? She's always Lilith, the evil. Is this like a biblical thing? It must be. Is she in the Bible? I
don't know, because my first intro was like True Blood, where she was in there.
Oh, okay. I must have missed it in that one, but I've many books that it's usually a Lilith that's the evil, seductive demoness that you get. Definitely.
Next time I'm allowed to stay at a hotel, I'll have a look in the drawer and see what it is. I don't have many Bibles in my house.
No. And I don't know. It might be easier to Google search, to be fair, than sit and read like Genesis. Trying to figure it out.
Do you want another book for your TBR? Got an oldie but a goodie. So he kind of because he nearly dies, and Yvonne brings him back to life, he shares some of the celestial secrets with her, and that's kind of why they were kicked out.
And it wasn't because he had a relationship with her. She kind of checks that out, as you do. Like, so is it this woman? Is that why you felt? And it's like, but not for the reason you think. She wasn't interested in me, because a lot of the fallen angels are fallen because they had relationships with mortal women. They're because
that's their catnip. So Sariel kind of does mention that at a point, and it's like,
it's clear.
Like, why did you fall?
No, there's no questions asked about why he
mortal
fell.
Women. So
definitely.
What? Just the ladies.
He can't help himself.
Bless him. So and he kind of says that when they fall, they lose their memories of what happened. So they ended up here like just full of nothing but rage and not knowing, and then it was all for nothing because Yvonne gets burnt at the stake as a witch.
And he didn't even understand why at the time. He was too confused, and she was kind of like looking at him like, and calling, why are you not helping? And he doesn't do anything about it. Which is sad. It is very sad.
I know that. It was quite harsh, wasn't it? But then so she finds out all of that, and she's
and he's back to that his purpose is to to remove the chaos of men, because they've taken all of our technologies and gone mental with them.
Yeah. But there's another kind of, she's like, do you think you're ever killing the wrong people? And he just gets quiet and just lights off. No more. Say no more.
Time for bed. That's kind of what you do, isn't it, when the kids when they ask a really awkward question.
Oh, sleepy times.
Yeah, maybe tomorrow, because they'll forget. So it's like, not tonight, time for sleep.
As soon as breakfast comes around in the morning. So yeah, I think she kind of realizes now that she's got to try and get out and see Finn.
Yeah.
And obviously, I don't remember reading it, but it's kind of Finn runs like a lingerie store.
Yeah. She says that on the way. It's like that's the plan at this stage. Yes. Before he was the doorman, but in the day he helps out on his dad's stall. It makes me think of EastEnders. Like, you got the evening job at the Queen Vic, and then you're working on the stall, helping out Pete Phil on the stall.
Keep away from Diamond Danny.
Yeah, that's it.
But who is the best person to go and buy ladies' underwear with her?
Of course, it is Surreal.
I could just imagine him as well.
Yeah, they go, and there's a couple of other soldiers with them because she's where she lost her case. They got her some other clothes, but they didn't get her any underwear, of course.
Why would you think that?
No, just give her some dresses. People bring their own underwear, I guess, normally.
Yeah, it's in the bag.
Yeah.
So, she manages to sort of slip away. Because obviously angels, soldiers, Clovian soldiers, people don't.
Oh, they just that bit made me laugh as well, because it's like she goes off to have this chat with Finn, and they're having the discussion. The soldiers and Surreal that have been left are just getting into a bigger and bigger brawl, and there's screaming going on
in the background.
She's just like, but she's just trying to get this conversation done before.
And then get some pants. Remember the
pants. and get some pants as well. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which Finn's a bit embarrassed about, isn't he?
He bloody looking anywhere but at her.
Yeah.
So so he kind of mentions that there's this Baron who is part of the Freemen, these patriots, and that, he knows that the Count is Samuel, which nobody kind of got the gist of before, but he's now been working with the Freemen a little bit, and he's got to kind of he's kind of passing bits and pieces back between them, and he's getting really worried. And she's like, all right, well, I'll try and give you a thumbs up every night. Do you know the bridge out by the castle and the tower? I will try and go out every night and give you a bit of a thumbs up.
Yeah, at 9:00. She'll try and be out there. But she says, so don't panic if I'm not there, sort of thing. Because I might not be able to. And this is part of it. He wants to become one of them, but he has to prove himself first, and he hasn't done that yet. So this is all part of him helping out. They've got to fight back, and he's all for the cause, isn't he?
Yeah.
And what she has to do.
One of the patriots. So so she ends up going back to try and find her soldiers, and Surreal he's kind of she finds him stood over some women. There's dead bodies.
Yeah, there's been more murders, which is kind of what's been going on. Yeah. It's not, you go off thinking that they're just having a brawl because because as they came out, it was hostile again, like it was in the grounds when they had the execution. So you kind of think it's just that, but then when she gets back to them, it's like clearly something else has happened, and there's 3 women that have been killed like it. And he stood
over there with his wings out, big, epic, biblical. So a policeman comes by, and she's kind of she kind of points it out, and he's like, oh, go away, you're one of them. She gives the details to the copper and says, look, this is happening.
She's already told it to Finn, hasn't she?
And then she tells it to the copper as well, that they know that the meetup is going to happen. And then the copper gives her a wink, says, oh, you're on the inside, thank you.
Yeah, because he's really horrible to her for being there, even though she's going, be careful, that angel's there. There's, she's clearly not on their side by what she's saying to him, but just the fact that she's with him, the copper's really hostile to her until she starts giving this information and he thinks she's on the inside.
So then he goes off with that.
Yeah.
And she goes back to the castle. But good old Sam's not happy because they've been tipped off.
And that was the other thing with Finn. When she was telling Finn, and he was quite distracted, wasn't he, by what was going on. He was being quite judgmental because he asked what it was like, what conditions she was being kept in the castle. And she was like, it's pretty plush.
It's quite nice.
To be honest. And he's like, oh, right, okay, so you're not in prison or anything. He's like quite put out by it. And she's already felt a little bit guilty about it. But yeah, he's a bit judgmental and not really paying attention, which is why she felt she had to tell the policeman too when she realises does she see a cufflink on him as well?
Yeah, I think she catches something of him and she kind of realises. But yes, I've got that she kind of, then she gets back in and she feels, is she being too comfy here? Should she be stepping back again?
Yeah.
But yeah, so Sam isn't happy that they've been tipped off, but he said it's all right because they're moving it to a ship. And then we realise that Arnold is actually kind of in cahoots with him.
Yeah, he's been passing his pleasure ship, which makes sense because he is presented when you first meet him as a very pragmatic character, and he's like, those are the people in charge. It's like, classic kind of underworld boss. They side with who is the most powerful, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
And he was quite when they talked about it, when they were talking about the deal before he sent her off, even then he was saying, the kings were a bit shit anyway, that they've come in.
They weren't great.
So it's clear that he's like looking at it fairly objectively. He's not a patriot. It is clear to say.
We have to save the kingdom. We've not had a king for years.
Yeah, what kingdom? We don't have a king.
We
so
go to his boat. Yeah.
Party boat. Woohoo!
Yay! Again, this reminds me of Ragnarok, where they're up on his pleasure ship.
Yeah.
Yep. So we've got everybody's there for the party boat. Sam's got his cloak on.
He wears it like a coat. Yeah. All the time. His cloak.
Yeah. So Sariel's actually dressed for a change.
Yeah, he's got a shirt on.
Yeah. And Lila is kind of taking over as actually her job. She's supposed to be in as a courtesan to sit and listen.
This is funny.
So, he brings her actual proper clothes to do it in.
Yeah, because the party is like, she's got to be there. It's like a Playboy bunny type deal, isn't it? They've got to the women are there for the free men having this meeting, to pour champagne and be looked and touched. So they give her the outfit that she has to go. She doesn't know what to do with it, does she, with all the straps?
No.
Even though she's supposed to be a courtesan.
Yeah.
She comes out and she's like hooked it up wrong.
Mm-hmm. So Sariel, he's kind of like courtesan, and he has to come and take her stockings off because she's kind of tucked him into her knickers and doesn't know exactly what she's doing.
She doesn't know what to do with the garter belt.
Yeah, bless her. Yeah, so Samuel's like, okay, why are you doing it? He's like, well, you're not going to do it, are you?
Little bit of a dig, but clearly that goes down bad because then he's like, right, leave. You go wait outside.
So Samuel then hides in that I gave it the best name ever because it made me giggle. So he sends her into this little cubby, which is like a viewing room, which was used by warrior monks. So it was the tiny warrior monks dogging room for me.
Because they say it's 2 foot square. I'm like, that is too small.
It's a like tiny dogging room.
2 foot square is too tiny for what I would imagine is an enormous fallen angel to fit into.
The girl putting her pants on, you can kind of understand, but Samuel hiding in the dogging room wasn't.
It's because he's got his 2-way mirror thing to look through, or is it? It is, isn't it? It's not.
It is kind of like that, yes.
Yeah.
There's not like little eye holes he flips.
No, that's what I was wondering. Was there an eye hole or not? No,
I think it was kind of a mirror.
Yeah,
so
more
other
of the magic mirrors, like there are in the castle. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice that bit. So women start to turn up in their skin clothes, and she's noticed by somebody who's another courtesan, and she's like, "Hi, Lila," and she's like, "No, Sarah." And then they carry on.
Yeah, the other girl clicks on. She's like, "Fine, yeah."
Oh, okay.
It's obviously that kind of life that they lead. You're being Sarah tonight. That's fine. I'll just go along with that. Won't get you in trouble.
Yeah, cool. But yeah, so then the men start to stumble in and appear.
The free
kind
men.
They're not.
I mean, just the description of them, I have to say. They come in with their black shirts buttoned up to the top and their slicked back hair, and you just know these are a bunch of wankers, aren't they? Really?
Well, yeah, there were kind of many things in my head, but they're probably not really much for me to say. But yeah, they start chatting. And there's talk of the Baron, there's talk about a book, and there's talk of Lilith.
Yeah, she reads that from across the room, doesn't she? Lip reads some of that. And the other ones that she's close to, that she's pouring the champagne for, they're talking about the Baron.
Yes. And then a dude turns up who looks very, very nifty. And luckily somebody points out that that's not the Baron, it's the right-hand man.
Was very lucky that they announced,
cheers.
Here. Yeah.
Yes, so he was Lord, he had a fantastic name. Apedale.
Oh my God.
Fantastic name. So he's there, and the men start getting quite rowdy and handsy. Oh God, there were horrible words mentioned. I do not like the word that they mentioned.
Oh, it's gross. It's like, do what you're here for, wench, kind of thing. And she's not comfortable, but to be fair, that isn't the reason she scarpers. She scarpers because the policeman shows up.
Turns up.
Yeah, and she's like, he's going to recognise me from being the informant, so they're going to know that I also work with the angels. That is a tricky situation. So she decides.
So I need to go into the warrior monk dogging hole with Samuel.
Yes, 2 of them squeezed in the close proximity. Oh my goodness!
Only one tiny dogging room.
You get it happen though, at least, like something happens in the situation. The promise of it is like, there's a tiny room, they're going to get stuck in together, at least it follows through.
So he's in there, and he's kind of he's not in the best of places watching all these men get really handsy with her. No,
he's not happy. He's been clearly enjoying seeing her in the little outfits, but not so much the people touching her. And they've talked about his true face, haven't they? That the angel gets this, his true face, and it's too much for mortals to behold. Like, you lose your fries your brain. Totally.
So we go in there, and he's kind of getting hazy when he sees all this sort of stuff happening, and his true self is emerging, and then she ends up in the room with him.
I just felt it was so funny when she gets in there, and he knows he's got to try and talk to her, and he keeps asking her, and she says stuff, and he's like completely blanked out. He goes, "What?" And it's just him thinking about he's just thinking about her body and what he wants to do with it, and that she's close to him, and he's like, "Oh God, I'm going to be like such an idiot, but I've got to say it again." What? Do it again. What did you say? She's just whispering in his ear to tell him stuff.
But then the smoke starts coming in. They're smoking something
like opium type.
Yes, the lust bloom. It's like a massive aphrodisiac, obviously, and that sort of sinks into
on
him.
top of him already feeling that way, and her being close to him and having the angel charm.
Undies on. Yes.
Yeah, it's just
and the undies on.
It's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
And they get close.
His hands roam. She likes it.
Yes.
I think
some kissing.
Yes, but it gets to the point where they get too close, and she opens her eyes, and then she sees that he's gone full angel.
She can, there's like chains that appear and gold tattoos,
like fiery chains.
Gold tattoos again.
Mercy.
We don't know what they say. They never come up.
No, they do. They don't know. But I've kind of written blue steel.
Still.
Like Zoolander, that's his true face.
Yeah.
But yeah, she kind of, everything, like her mortality hits her in that moment, that he is a god and I am not, and I will die. It might not be now, but it will happen. And it all kind of hits her all at once, all of this stuff.
Seeing like a fallen angel doesn't seem necessary for me to have those kind of existential crises.
No, really.
To be fair, I mean, to think no mortals ever have those moments.
Yeah,
is a bit crazy.
You wake up in the morning and your leg's kind of asleep, and you're like, oh my god,
oh my god,
yeah. What is it?
No, so I can kind of appreciate, but yeah, there must be. Maybe it's like the endlessness of the time and stuff, and yeah, she has to scalp her.
She runs, doesn't she? But she kind of does it. She kind of like, she looks at him and she said, Jesus, you're terrifying. And then runs. It's like, well, blimey, kick him when he's down.
And she thinks it, doesn't she? It's like she hears the venom of God, because it hasn't been mentioned that he's the venom of God, but it's like she hears it just by seeing his face. It's like, God, yeah. And she's outside in her little panties and shivering on the dockside.
And
and then the screaming starts.
Yes. All the humans start coming out.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the women do.
Yeah, the women start coming out. They're the heroes. And Samuel comes and finds her, gives her his cloak. Kind of him. And he's like, yeah, I've got to go back in because death is on the horizon.
And he's quite buzzed by it. He's like, oh right, he's got his true face on. I'm gonna get inside. Because he finds out, he asks her, he's like, what's happened to you? And she's like, I saw his true face. And he's like, oh, and you're still sane? Yeah. Okay. And you remember what it looked like? And she's like, I'm never gonna forget. Yeah.
Yeah, they always do though. Mortals do.
And that even gets proven when some of the women come out and she's asking and they're like, oh, it's terrifying, but I can't actually remember anymore. What was it again? She's like, just go see my friend over there who lives over there. She'll look after you.
Yeah, she'll get you clothes and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's just carnage.
Yeah. And just whatever Samuel's plan was for like spying and infiltrating, he can't think about it. He's got he just goes into destroyer mode. So he just kills them all. That's
and then he kind of comes off the boat and he's like, I'll get someone to clean the bodies. And she's like, that's my husband.
Yeah. Lovely. Oh dear.
There we go. I thought that was quite cool.
It was. I had that written down too.
What can your husband do? Well, now you mention it.
I mean, that's
everybody's got party tricks.
I think we haven't sort of. I mean, it's obviously probably become clear that she's quite funny.
Yes,
the way she thinks
just her one-liners.
Yeah, it's just the way she thinks about stuff, which is very similar to the last two heroines, really, isn't it? There's obviously a theme in that we like a bit of this black humour that goes on.
These snarky ladies.
Yeah, this dark humour in these terrible situations that they're in, and they're just like sarcasm central.
Dumb. Oh, we all need a little bit of that in our lives.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, we kind of get back, and what more can you do? Yeah. She needs to. She realizes she needs to go and wave at Finn. At a certain point.
Oh god, yeah.
So she kind of gets back, has to sneak out again to go and wave to Finn to let him know what's going on, and he's not there, and she's like, okay, I'll give it a few minutes, I've got to do something. And then loads of soldiers turn up,
and they know her name, they call her name, which no one knows yet
that she's Lila.
And she had to fight them off because she's out on this tiny broken bridge. She's taking them one at a time, and then there's too many.
Yeah, and then he starts yelling her, and she's like, "Dude!"
Yeah, he turns up. Timing is like, Lila is calling from the other bank, and it distracts her, and that's curtains. Yeah, they get the better of her, and she's gonna fall.
Yeah, she doesn't do badly. She kind of gets
she does
4 of them.
Yeah,
and then she's kind of clinging on by her fingertips, and the last
and I think she's called that darkness again, hasn't she? And that's why thing calling to her has distracted her, and she like loses the vibe, doesn't she?
Loses the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she's clinging on by her fingers, and he comes and stamps on her, and then she falls, and then she's like, okay, this is death. This is what I saw.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would come this quickly.
Yeah.
But here it is. And then something kind of goes through her head. There's a voice.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah, it's not your time yet. Vengeance will be yours. Oh, nice.
And she feels like she's slowing her flight.
Yeah.
She has this like crazy moment when she thinks she's slowing, but then it stops, and then she hits something, but it isn't the ground. Nope. It is Samuel. He's arrived.
Yay.
Yes. Arms, chest, all
wings.
of that. Wings. Yeah. He rescues her.
And she kindly, then she sort of sees the perfection of God in him. She kind of looks up at his face, and she's like, actually, I can see.
She's like, if this is my job that I have to seduce you, it could be worse. She's thinking at that stage, isn't it? It's like,
so yeah.
I didn't mind the little priest hole on the boat. It was all right, apart from the scary face bit.
Yeah, I liked your kisses. Just that bit
she tells
so
him
nice.
that, doesn't she?
Yeah. But then he's kind of like, okay, what the hell happened? And she's like, dude, you guards were trying to kill me.
She kind of dodges it a little bit as to why she was up there at all. And he's like, you're a liar. Why do you keep lying to me? She's like, well, maybe I'm supposed to, because I'm in your dreams.
Your dreams, not mine.
I'm just being me, like I'm supposed to be. So just roll with it.
Yeah. But then she's kind of like, so you didn't send them to do that? And he's like, no, if I wanted you dead, I'd do it myself.
Yeah.
Which at least something. Personal touch. Yeah. Can't grumble. But then,
so then he goes off,
castle.
doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
He delivers it. He's like, go to my room. And he gets changed. Nice old flash of the chest, isn't it? And then he storms off again. And she's like, oh, there was because she was about to get in the bath again, and he just leaves, and she's like, damn, this was my opportunity to seduce you
again.
Right.
She gets in the bath anyway, though.
Yeah. And who should arrive?
Yay! Oh, he's my favourite.
Is he your favourite? And he arrives with whiskey, Bath's whiskey as well.
Yeah. And he's like, what did you do? What did you do? Why? He's out killing all of his soldiers. Yeah. And I can't ask him because he's gone full blue steel.
He's got his face on.
He's got his face on. And now he can't talk. So you got to tell me.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, well, he's like, retaliation. It's like, why are they killing you? Maybe because you killed all their friends.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, okay, you know what I did in the tower then.
Yeah. He's sussed it. So, they're not, to be fair, she isn't spy material, really. No. She has some good moments at getting about, but they do suss most of it. She's not really fooling them. They know she's lying about most stuff. They know she's shifty. They're just tolerating it because they want to see where it's going to go, really.
Yeah, it is kind of a bit weird, isn't it? That it's kind of like, oh, that's happened again. We'll give it another day. But he kind of opens up here, doesn't he? And he does his mortal thing that, this is why I fell. And she's like, well, Samuel told me something different. And he's like, well, there were lots of things. We were watchers to start with. We didn't want to fight. We were watchers. We guarded people and we tried to stop the chaos.
Yeah.
But we gave too many secrets and they kind of gave mortals war. And that's kind of how he sort of said, there were lots of things that we sinned with and we gave them war and we tried to fix it.
Yeah.
But we couldn't. It was too much.
Yeah, it is very it's very ambiguous. That it kind of makes you think about the fact that they don't really know what they're supposed to be doing. They had a purpose, which was to look after people and they're mankind, and then they fell and now they don't really know what they're supposed to be doing. So they've kind of latched on to something and it's this restoring order because of the mistakes that they've made. It's just they're going about it in quite a brutal way.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's their nature, I guess.
Yeah, they're kind of they're bigger than most things.
And so, he admits, doesn't he, about this is where she finds out that this is what will weaken them. This is where he says that. Is it earlier, actually? We missed it.
Might have been a bit earlier. It's like, mortal women. She's like, what do you mean? She's like, seduction.
Yeah, he says our weakness is, mortal women. And she was like, well, yeah, everyone knows that. But no, like, literally, it's our weakness. We will become mortal.
We become human for a time.
Yeah.
So, that is, she's had her bath and she's like, all right, I am on the case with it now.
Mm-hmm.
So she gets her naughty lingerie back on.
Lingerie. I say it like that in my head too.
How else can you spell it?
I know.
Leg end.
The special red one that made Finn particularly embarrassed. She's like, those are the babies I've got to put on.
But then she kind of goes and lies on the sofa, and then does she not fall asleep?
She's like, it takes ages. She waits and she falls asleep and she starts having saucy dreams about him.
Yeah, naughty lady dreams.
Naughty lady.
And then her hands wander.
Yeah.
And you know where they're going.
Yeah. And she wakes up and he's there. He's come back and he's just like, whoa. He's just transfixed, obviously. Oh, yes.
So she
she has that immediate embarrassment thing, and then she's actually like, this isn't such a bad thing, actually. He's clearly interested in this.
Yep. So the sex kitten comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So she kind of crawls over and then gets in his lap.
He's trying to ignore her with the book again.
Yeah, it's upside down, you know.
The upside down book. Yeah. Definitely not turning any pages.
But so she gets in his lap and kind of touches and feels, and he just can't not give in now.
Yeah.
So he grabs that and he shunts her over to the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he turns the lights off, doesn't he? I think because she's about to think, oh God, how am I going to cope with the face coming out again? The scariness.
So he
just turns the lights off. Yeah, like that's a good idea. That must be why he knows that magic word.
Yeah. So he gives her, humans are meant to be punished, but he gives her punishment with his mouth instead.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's really reaching then, isn't he? For because he's
I have to punish her.
Like, I am going to torture her with pleasure.
With my tongue.
Yeah. That's it. I'll teach her a lesson, punish her. But I don't want to punish her by like putting her on a rack. Oral sex for you.
Yes. Oh no, please stop.
Yeah.
But so he goes down on that and it gets to that pinnacle moment and then he leaves.
Yeah, he gets a hold for himself again. He's like, hang on. Yeah, this is too much. Got to go.
Face is coming. Yep, so he's off. And then she's like, what the hell just happened?
Oh, no.
What did
I thought I was there. I thought it was happening.
Yeah. We were there together.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, he wasn't in the moment.
So she just goes to sleep again. Comes up.
Yeah, she's kind of like, I need my energy. So she goes to bed, wakes up the next day alone.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she kind of wakes up and she's in his bed and it's nice and it's comfy and it smells like him. And I kind of think she has a moment and she's like, can I actually kill him if I need to after all that's gone on?
And she's been hearing more stuff, hasn't she? Like, that's the other thing Soriel told her when she was in the bath, was that the invasion, this occupation, wasn't something they started. The Clovian army didn't come and take over.
Oh.
It was,
We did, yeah.
Yeah, it was
so many things.
The king that was there, of Albia.
Tried to take their land.
Yeah, he was like, he tried to go off and reclaim lands that he thought he owned and stage some black ops and stuff like that. And so they had to come in and take him out, kind of thing. So, it's history is written by not the victors in this case, but it's propaganda. They need some better PR, frankly, Clovians. They need to be getting better messages out when they go to occupy somewhere,
Yeah. Who shall we send? Let's send the Angel of Death.
Who just doesn't want to communicate, full stop, with anybody, really.
Yeah. Have we not got some fluffy puppies or something? We could, no.
And his ravens. Very brief mention. He likes the ravens.
Yes,
nice.
Yeah. So the king, he had them he had their wings clipped, didn't he?
Yeah,
so...
he's not happy. Not happy about clipping wings. I guess if you've got some, that means even more, doesn't it?
Yeah, so... it's kind of understandable. So she kind of, after all of that, she kind of has her moments of, okay, same as Pestilence, there's purpose, he's not doing it just for the sake of killing. He has
and the Freemen are not
behind it.
They're not great people.
On the boat, they were not. Every step of the way, the women that are murdered, the coppers are like, oh, we know what's happening, we'll sort it. And on the boat, they were really handsy and just not pleasant people. So there's lots of things weighing up in her mind now.
But then she gets another raven, doesn't she?
Yeah, so she goes out to call Lud, and then he drops a picture at her feet, and it's a photo.
Yes.
And it is Samuel with the most sinister smile on his face, holding her sister's head.
The severed head.
Her severed head.
Her sister. Which, it doesn't matter what she's been feeling in terms of sympathy towards him. That's all undone. And that's it. She leaves, doesn't she?
Yeah. So epic grief turns into rage and darkness, and she just leaves. She goes through the passages and she climbs the walls and she's gone.
Yeah.
So she's running through the streets, and I think she meets a policeman on the way and kind of stops and says, okay, it's Samuel killing all these people. I've seen photos. I have proof. You need to do something. And I think the way I read it, the copper's like, okay, I understand, love. And he kind of, he's like, oh, it's all angels. We know. And he embellishes it a little bit.
Yeah, and he's like, it's not just one of them, because she's kind of coming at it like it's this one guy. Yeah, it's Samuel. He's nuts. Done it. He's killing these people. He killed the servants. He's killing the women. You need to stop him. She's not really going into the whole,
everybody.
Rebellion. But he's like, you're really naive if you don't think it's that. And
it's all of them. They are bigger than us, and they are these awful.
Yeah, anyone that consorts with them, kind of thing.
Yeah, so she kind of has that in her head, but she knows she's got to go off, and she needs to find Finn and find out what the hell's going on. So she does, and he's like, he's really apologetic. He didn't want to send the photo, but he knew that he had to. He knew he had to get it out there because the Freemen have something to ask of her. Yeah. And she's like, okay, what is it? And it's like, well, the Baron knows you're the true patriot. He knows that you're in this. So I want you to kind of seduce him. And like, I've tried that. I've done all of this. And Finn's a bit,
yeah, because he's like, you don't have to do the full thing. It's just kissing. She's like, I've done that. And he's like, oh, okay. Work. He's not so chuffed to hear that, is he?
So it's fine that they have a plan B.
Yes.
That they think
the seducing is part of it, isn't it? They've got to do that so that he's mortal enough so that they can kill him. And then he provides, he takes her to
a pub.
The posh pub, which is usually only for aristocrats. And it's just got a couple of free men in it. And Finn's there, and he goes and speaks to them, and they bring out a briefcase with a bomb that she's got to plant. And the perfect place is, of course, the tea drawer.
In a drawer, yeah. And then he kind of explains all the working out, and
he's just sweating, holding it. Be careful with it. He's like, shall I just do it, Finn? Just calm down.
Fine.
He's very nervous, isn't he?
Yeah. So he's like, okay, you've got to go, hide out, take it. Here's the key to my rooms. Go and do that, and then go and do it later, and then meet me back at the club. And she's like, I'll give you your keys back, we'll sort it all. So she goes to Finn's house, and it's kind of yeah, the walls are covered. It reminded me a bit of a weird shrine. The walls are covered in all
It
the
did
pictures
feel a
he's
bit
done
odd. Yeah,
yes,
he's an artist and he's done a picture of her and he's done a picture of her
of a
sister,
sister.
both with this, mischievous smile on their faces, even though they look very different. And she notices a loose floorboard, doesn't she? Which has a gun underneath it.
And she's like, okay, Finn's not as nice and
no, that's
boy
not the
next
boy
door
I
as I
remember.
thought.
Yeah. And she just sits and entertains herself with one of his sketchbooks.
Yes, flicking through that.
Yeah.
So so she does that, and then she knows what her plan is. So nighttime falls, and she's winging it back to the castle.
Yeah.
Up over the walls and hiding away.
She has to strap it to her chest, doesn't she?
Ties it around herself.
I mean, God, she's brave. She's very brave. Has the bomb literally attached to her, and it's pretty fragile, this thing, but she's going to scale a wall with it strapped to her.
She's like,
she does it. Oh my God.
Yeah, she does. She does it really well. She scales the walls, finds the soldiers have all been really bulked up since she left. Kind of sees a window between one group going, the next group coming, tries to dart through, but something happens. Somebody stumbles back, hits her, and then she's like, okay, let's have a chat. I've got a bomb, don't kick. What they do, they kind of belt her to the floor. And she's
not in a good position at all.
No. But
she's trying to explain to them, don't.
I've got a bomb. But she's on the floor and the soldiers are everywhere, and she kind of starts feeling the power through the ground. And she's like, okay. She sort of pushes her fingers in to try and feel the Raven King coming through. And all the nightshade in the garden starts to sprout. And she kind of gets
blooms.
It blooms and it starts to blossom, and she feels stronger. And I think she has a moment where she's like, okay, this doesn't feel like it's down there. Kind of feels like it's in me. Yeah,
she recognizes there's something outside and something in her that's happening too. Yeah, definitely.
So the nightshade blooms, starts to burst, and then all the soldiers start dropping one by one. But she's fine.
Asleep.
Yeah. And she's totally unaffected, which is a win.
Yeah. And she heads up, she gets into his room and she plants the bomb. And she has a moment of doubt, doesn't she, where she just remembers him with his tea. And this, and kind of, she's mentioned a couple of times that when he looks at her, he looks quite confused. He's like not understanding, and he's got this innocence, which also reminded me of Pestilence, in that they have this kind of, this thing that makes them seem quite young, despite their and naive of people and their ways, even though they are like this huge scary person. They're also just a little bit innocent. And she just has a moment of doubt, and then she remembers, and she's like, no, I've got to do it. And leaves again.
You held my sister's head in your hand, you evil tyrant. So she puts the bomb in. I think she senses he's coming back, so she grabs the briefcase. She senses his
power, doesn't she?
Darts back through the secret passages, tosses that to the floor, and gets out.
Yeah, and heads for the music hall, where Finn said to meet him.
So she runs, and he's not there, which is a bit weird. So she gets inside. She finds Arnold and Zara.
Yeah,
and she's kind of like, where's Finn? What's going on? And they're like, we fired him. He's
being a twat. He's working with these free men. And we don't like him.
They're really dodgy. Have you not?
They've been using my room and sneaking into the office.
They've got all the chemicals in here. It's
what I liked about that scene was that she was ready to go. She was like, is Finn here? No. And she's like ready to leave, and Arnold's like, hang on, no, I want to talk to you. And he's persistent in like catching hold of her to say, what are you doing? Are you messing around with these free men? Because that's not a good idea. So he's like, I don't like it in things when they're like, it could be easily explained if people were just a little bit more persistent with each other about, I have something to say to you.
No, I'm not listening.
No, I must go. Oh, okay, bye. It's just, but that doesn't happen. That's good.
No. But this is it. She's kind of like, but Finn never would. It's kind of, we've been friends for so long. He wouldn't do that. He's kind of a good guy. And they're like, no, they're bad guys.
He's changed. He's putting on an accent to be round the three men because they're a bit posh, and he's pretending he's a bit like that.
Yeah.
Oh, you know. And then as she goes to leave,
the floorboards creak.
Yeah. She's like, hang on. Okay.
Just like Finn's house.
That's strange. He's been hanging around in here with them, and now there's a loose floorboard. And she looks and she finds the photos that he's used to create the fake picture. They've created this fake picture of Samuel killing Alice. Yeah. And Alice is alive.
Yeah. So there's pictures of her like kneeling on the floor with her arms back, and people moving her to get her in position.
Yeah.
And it kind of, I think it clicks that, okay, she's alive.
And she's just devastated that the betrayal of both of them, that they would do this. Samuel's picture is just of him pointing at something. And, Finn with his artistic skills has manipulated it, and they've used Arnold's room because it's dark. He doesn't have any windows. Yeah,
this is it.
They've used it as a dark room and the chemicals and everything to create these pictures. And she's like, right, I've got to get back and stop.
Yeah, I've got to fix it.
Yeah, whoops.
Yep.
Put a bomb there. Shouldn't have done that.
Yep. So she runs outside. She tries to pelt it back to the castle, but she hears something, looks up, and there's a hot air balloon, I think.
Yeah. Or it's a Zeppelin or something.
Yeah, something like that. A big silver balloon I've got. And then things start like littering to the floor.
See, they've got their propaganda game on. This is what I mean. They just need PR.
Pictures of her dead sister.
Yeah, and she's just shouting like a crazy person. It's all lies. It's not real.
Don't look at them. But that's not going to work. And then she sees Finn and somebody else.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that.
Yeah. So she kind of starts questioning what's going on. What's this? What's that? And the stranger's like, no, we're here to cleanse. This is, he kind of, his propaganda spiel. We're cleansing the world of the angels. They want an apocalypse. We need to remove them from the higher powers. And
all the women that have been consorting with them.
Yes, they're dirty and not nice.
That's why they've been killing them. It becomes clear that they're the ones that have done it. So instead of time's up, signed Samuel, it's time's up, Samuel. It's Oxford comma. I'm a fan personally. This is why it's important.
We need to put it in there. So they've been telling him that they're ready. And she's kind of, oh God, she's all over the place. She's like, then did Alice help with this? She's been involved in all of this. And it's too much. It's it's crazy.
She just lays him out, doesn't she?
Yep. After all, she does them both, doesn't she?
Yeah. And she's off, speeding back off to the castle again.
Figure it out.
All the soldiers are still asleep.
Yeah, she runs back through. And I think we jumped to his POV for a little bit.
Yeah, and it was a good, good tension builder. Because he's like having a chat. Why is everyone doing this? Surreal's there. What's going on? Let's have a cup of tea and chat about it.
We need tea.
Yeah.
Like, oh, bless. So, it's kind of, everything's kicking off.
And she gets there. Yeah, she's like, she's back in the ground. She gets back up there and she sees him going for the drawer to open it and just shouts out, "Don't!" But it's too late.
Yeah, it's hot and it's pain and it's fire and then it's black. But then she wakes.
Yeah.
And
she's in a different room. Yeah.
But there's not death.
No, and not as much as she would have thought either for being blown up.
Yeah, she's kind of thinking she should be a big charred mess.
Yeah.
And she's just a bit red and blotchy. So yeah, it kind of, I think it comes around that she's been there for quite a while.
Yeah, unconscious, and she gets up. She's in a room with only 2 doors. One's barred, one's into the bathroom because bath, got to have a bath again available.
It's got to be done. So yeah, has she killed 2 angels? No, the door's opened and Samuel's there. Not a mark on
she
him,
bangs on the door, doesn't she? Where am I? Is anybody there? Sort of thing. She doesn't, because she's looked out the window and she's in a completely different place. She's not at Castle Hades anymore. She doesn't know where she is.
I think there's quite a chunk of water because it's an island, I think.
Yeah. He's mentioned his island before. So I think you can kind of infer that that's what it is. But she doesn't know of it. Yeah. And he comes and tells her, no, sorry, you didn't manage to kill me. Also real, although you hurt him quite a lot. Yeah.
And he kind of goes into details like, why he drinks. This isn't to do with this, that they've been killing his children. He's
the Nephilim.
Been alive this long. He drinks to forget because rebels have been there and always doing this. It's like, kick her while she's down.
And she thinks the only thing she can do at that stage is to be completely honest with him for the first time, and she pours everything out about what's happened, and bless him, he's like, that's interesting, so Finn told you this. Who the hell's Finn? It's just like, never even heard of him before. Who's this dude?
He's me mate.
She does. She explains it all, how she was swayed, how she's been betrayed herself, and she regretted what she did. But it doesn't matter to him at that stage. He's like, well, you tried to kill me. There's quite something to come back from. And it's only because you didn't fully seduce me that, I'm still here.
Dead. Yeah. So he's like, yep, you're dangerous. I'm not letting you out of this room or off this island. So that's where
she's like, what if I want to leave? Just worth asking, isn't it? Why assume that you can't leave if you just say, I'd like to go now, please?
No. You're here there's a Simpsons moment for you. You're here forever. So he goes, and she kind of realizes, well, she's got one thing to do. She needs to kind of start learning, start reading, and
knowledge is power.
His good books. And that's kind of where we leave it.
And they do say it like immediately. The second and third books are available. So if you're one of those people who cannot start a series without knowing that the others are there, they are available. I have not read the last one yet. I need to do that. I've read the second, which was also made me crack up so much. The beginning of that book was hilarious.
See, I'm onto the third, and then my brain kind of gets a bit fuzzy. It's like, what did this happen? With that happen? With that happen?
That's the problem, isn't it? When you read them all close together as well, they just become a massive book in your head, don't they?
Go read them; they're fun. But so that's it for.
They are fun.
Yes. Compared to some of the others, compared to last week's, it's
I think that's it. It was like they're both fallen angel ones. Well, to be fair, Pestilence isn't a fallen angel. He is just, the instrument of God. But that one's just so like deep morality, and it's amazing. But this one is like just as enjoyable. It's like it's the other side of the coin where you can go with it. All of that lovely stuff, but it's exciting. It's very pacey. It's always something happening. That's why this one's long, trying to get through all of the twists and turns.
All the little bits.
She's a very busy lady, Lila.
I was going to say, there's still so much we've missed, and it's like there's this and there's Raven tattoos, and go read the books. It's fine. Go enjoy. But so next week 4.
We'll be doing
exciting.
Promise of Darkness.
Yes, that's the very chap, Beck McMaster.
That's right. Which is another epic one, and our link is Hades, isn't it?
Hades, yes.
So because obviously there is the bargain of Hades in the myth, where he gets someone to come and he gets Persephone down to the underworld. Yeah, and obviously it's Castle Hades in this, which gives you the nod of that, where he's made the contract with her for her to come and work. And that's what is also played on in Promise of Darkness.
Cool. So yes, we're very much looking forward to that next week. So if you are willing to join us, you can follow us on any social media platform that is your preference. We are at SFFRomCast on Twitter.
Yeah, and on Instagram and TikTok and also YouTube. I remembered to say YouTube this time. We're on all of those with the same handle.
Cool.
Come and tell us what you think. If you've tried them, if you have other ones with Hades or Fallen Angels that you've also enjoyed. We'd love to hear about it.
Definitely. Or just come say hi, because we like to chat. You might have noticed.
That too. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. We will see everybody next week.
Lovely. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.